It's been announced that every single household in the UK will each receive £400 discounts in their energy bills later on this year to help fund the gap between what affordability is considered to be right in terms of energy bills and the amount that's coming through in terms of the real figures from those energy companies. In addition, 8 million of the poorest households, however that's calculated, will each receive a one-off payment of £650. Now, of course, the big question is how all this will be funded. As we've been hearing, it'll be a windfall tax, although it's not how the Tory government have described it. It will be a tax on energy companies, a one-off tax that'll hit them because of their increased profits. Let's take a look at what's been happening in terms of the price of oil. Now, on here, this is Brent. I've put down the price of unleaded on this, and I know that we're talking here about energy bills and not the cost of filling up your car, but I think I'll put this move into some sort of context. When Brent was at its low point down at the very beginning of COVID, 22nd of April, it was $18.99 a barrel. We were paying $1.10 a litre. It did drop from 120 to 110 during the deepest, darkest moments of that first lockdown. So that was what petrol stations were then charging at the pump, and they were paying out just shy of $19 a barrel. At the very peak recently, at $131 a barrel, 50 cents, we were seeing unleaded at 163 pence a litre. Since then, we've seen a pullback, and there have been a lot of complaints about this, the fact that we haven't got a pullback in the price of unleaded, and indeed the price of unleaded has recently risen. And I noticed yesterday there were headlines saying that it had topped 170 pence a litre. So that puts things into some sort of context in terms of the energy bills for filling up your car, but not for powering heat in your house. Interestingly, the companies that will be saddled with this tax are these oil companies. Now, I've shown you this BP chart here. I thought it would be interesting, if for no other reason, just to show you that it's broken to a new recent high. It's currently trading at 431.8 pence mid-session on Thursday afternoon. But intraday, we've seen it hit the highest level since the 25th of February 2020. Now, it's pre-COVID. Now, the thing about this is if we get a candle close beyond the 431, we're then on the way to this line up here at 452.2, and that would close this rather uncomfortable gap that we're seeing here, and that would take us up to those levels not seen since mid-February 2020. Interestingly, Shell, for example, is another one that's seen gains today. Looking at some of the smaller oil companies, I just thought perhaps I'd highlight this. This is Hurricane, which does produce oil in the North Sea, and it's down in today's session by a margin of 4.3%. But obviously, the government is trying to help the social economy here in the UK with what it's doing. It is hitting these energy companies, but they are benefiting from a higher price of oil.